Hello everybody, my name is Tim, and today we're going to tackle building a mechanical game dice for board games. So I make a number of laser cut games like dice baseball, dice football, and I thought it would be kind of interesting, instead of providing dice, that I could give it an option of making a this mechanical game dice system. So I'll flip it around the other side here, just a sec. And now we can see the screen, and that's the machine that we're going to build today. So I cut that out using my laser, my iKeer 48 watt / 24 watt. It's switchable to two wattages, just one for speed, one for detail and engraving. And so what I did the other day was I cut out all of the parts for this thing. I ordered this online from Etsy. You can see the link right there. It's pretty long, but you can just go into Etsy and Google the name right there, which is Mechanical Game Dice for Board Games. And it was a whole $3 whopping to buy this thing. And what I wanted to do was, so I cut it out on MDF first, and I just want to make sure that the machine works adequately. And then if I prove that it does, then I'll probably make it out on birch and make it nice stained version of it or whatever. But so this is the digital files that I ordered, and unfortunately it didn't come with any instructions. There is a video here which you can see running, showing it in action, and it looks like it stops on the numbers. So that's one of the things I want to verify, that it's not going to stop halfway through between the numbers or whatever. And yeah, so hopefully if this thing works, then I can add it to my portfolio. So it did come with instructions. All I've got is a number of these photos from various angles, which I think is going to be enough to build it. So we're kind of doing this as an experiment, and if it's easy, then I can make more, and if it's not, then I'll probably say, yeah, we wasted $3. So let's get on with it. So here are the parts all laid out, the parts for this machine all laid out, and in no particular order except for the numbering, which you can see there. So that's the dice, so it'll be 2 dice of 6 numbers. Not sure why the extra 4 was in there, but it was. So we'll maybe figure out what that's for. And I guess that's the window that'll be used, as you can see there. And it looks like it's a pretty simple build, but yeah, let's have a look and see what this thing turns out. So you've got the gear wheels in the middle, I believe, and then you've got the 2 side pieces here, and there's 2 side units there as well, and we'll figure it out from there. So let's build it. I'm going to put it on my tripod over here in my room, and we'll do this in time lapse as I figure things out, and if anything sort of jumps out at me as critical to assembling, I'll stop and revert to filming, and then kick back into hyperlapse. All right, first thing I did was I assembled this. This is not glued together yet because I don't know whether I need to take the side parts, one of the sides off in order to get the wheels and everything, all the mechanism working. So right now that's just all just tight fit, and these drums obviously will go in here, so there will be a pivot point through these holes, I would imagine. I think these are probably the axles. But anyway, so going by the diagram, it shows that the the gears are on the inner side here, so the other one I'll make it like this, and then you just install the numbers. You'll see in the video that I just make sure that they're all right side up, so when they're spinning on the dial here that you can read them. You don't want to have them this way because obviously that's incorrect, so you got to make sure that the one on the left has the gear wheel on the right with the numbers reading the proper way, and so this one will have to go this way so that the gear is on the inside, and we'll do the same likewise thing, which I'll do on time lapse here. Okay, there we've got the two drums made, and as you can see, they're both right side up, so that the wheels are in the center. The drive wheels are in the center, and the numbers are all in order and facing right side up. So those will fit in there somehow, and then we're gonna. I guess that goes on there as the view window, and we're just doing a mock-up right now just to see what I need to take apart and then where I can start gluing these things, and that's what we're going to do. All right, I think I figured out how this mechanism works here. So these things sit on a shaft. These are too big to fit through there, so I think I'm going to have to get like probably a wire hanger, cut a straight link out of it, and put it through there, or get a dowel that size. Probably be better with a wire coat hanger because then it won't break. But the way they show it in the picture, I think one of these goes on the end of a dowel that goes through, but a dowel of course is made out of wood and it could break easily. And then you've got these other, I'm sure there's spacers for the inside, so that's what these round things are for. And then there's probably, there's 5 of these spacers, and then 2 of the bigger ones, which I would imagine would go in the middle between the 2 here, just to provide separation, or maybe just one, I'm not sure given the thickness. So the way this mechanism works here is you have to glue these pieces on like this, and it just makes a sled. So there's these 2 that just screw in. If you go back and go slow motion forward on the video, you'll see me assembling it. And then there's an end piece with the 3 holes that goes on there, that's glued on there. One goes in there, then this goes into here, into the slider assembly on the left hand side as you're looking towards the machine, as it would be the right hand side of the machine as you're operating it. I gotta glue all of these together I think now. But then this thing goes in here, provides a spacer there, and then there's this W-shaped thing here that goes in as a standoff to prevent this assembly from sliding out, and that would be glued in, so it'll be nice and rigid. And then that slides back and forth like that. You can put some candle wax or some wax paste in there, and that way it'll slide better. And the same thing with all of these wheels, they should be greased. Knocking pieces off here. I knocked a couple of them off, so we're going to find them. Anyway, I'll find that, no worries. So, that's that part. So I think I'm going to start gluing this assembly together, because I think everything can be put in place without having to take this base apart, hopefully. So I'm going to do that so this thing doesn't keep falling apart on me. So the way the bottom goes in is These stick through, then two of these spacers go in. These oval ones go on the corners, like so. And then this assembly goes, I believe it's this way. Let's go with the picture. Actually, it faces these detents face the forward part of the machine, which is the part you would be looking at the numbers. So that goes into there, and then these spacers allow you to put on the final two edge pieces right here. That one's got to go in there, as you can see, and then that piece goes on top of that, and that's how the final assembly looks, so it stands flat. And then that's your anchor actually for the elastic band for each of the drives, I believe. So I think it's 3 elastics, even though that one shows 1. I think you need 3, 1 for each wheel and 1 to middle it, I believe. So let's get on with gluing that and getting that piece in place. The other part of the mechanism I haven't figured out yet, but we will in due course, hopefully. I may just glue this side on first, and then, because that one looks like it's going to be rigid anyway. So let's start with that. All right, I tried, I had some really thin dowels, and that's not a very big hole. And even the thinnest dowel I have doesn't work. And then I tried shish kebab skewers, and again, excuse me, again, that's too thick. So one of the things I was going to do is try sanding this down in diameter, but that would take a lot of work. And ultimately, these things are quite fragile this way. So then I thought maybe I would try a wire coat hanger. So the idea is to find a nice straight section of it and basically cut it, and then that will be the basis of my axle. And I think I'll do it big for now. There we go. So hopefully that'll be a big enough axle so that these, and then I'm looking inside and it looks like the big ones go right into here, there, and then follow that by a small one, it looks like. And then we put the starboard side one on. You can tell I was in the Navy. Or right hand side one. If we can get it through, there we go. And then that would line up with that part. And then we're going to put another small one on. Maybe even small 2, I don't know. It looks like it's too thin, maybe not. And then this one will go in. I can get some light on it. Let's see where the center is. There we go. And likewise, This will require a small one. And that's where I'm sort of stuck, is I should have left that one side off. Unless I can get in there with a needle nose set of pliers. I know what I can do. I can glue them on. So let's pull that off. And then I'm going to tack glue these things, just a little bit of glue, just to make them stick. Onto the wall and make sure that they are in fact flush with the hole. So I'm going to need another piece to go from the other side just to make sure that it's centered on the hole. There we go. Oh. I'll let that dry for a bit, and then now I've got a smooth through thing for the other side. There we go. All right, we're back when that dries. So what I've done, if you can see here, so I've just glued those two together and had the whole line up, so that's why I used that other shaft. And then what I can do is pull this one, once that's dry, I'll pull it out, and then I don't have to get in there with tweezers to hold it centered. And I should probably almost do it for this side too, just because that way that's one less thing that'll muck up on me. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, that seems to have worked. I glued the, and actually I found this PDF in the files. I just went by one of the comments in Etsy where the guy said there was no instructions, and it turns out there is a PDF file in there. And it does show you the layout. So it's one large, one small, one large, one small O-ring. And then the two pieces with the gearing in the middle like in the photos. And it shows basically how to, well, it doesn't show how to assemble them, it just sort of shows you the order in which the assembly takes place, but no actual step-by-step instructions. So I kind of had to figure things out for myself. And then instead of it does say to use a bamboo stick for the axle, but I decided I'm going to use a coat hanger wire just because it's going to be more solid. And as you can see, I made it bigger here. I'm going to trim it down once I'm satisfied with the length and the functionality. And now I've got that piece glued in, so you can see how that works. And now I got to just go source a couple of, I'm not sure what this does, where this goes. Doesn't show it anywhere. Oh, there. That was supposed to be on that sled somewhere. Oh, I see. Easily fixed. So that just goes in on the sled. I think that's the brake, maybe. So we'll put that in with a set of tweezers. And hopefully that'll go good. So I'll take that off. I glued this piece on, so I gotta kind of go around it. Should have seen that before I put all this together and started figuring it out for myself. But that's all right. We can do it. We have the technology. There. That's in. It's just the way it's supposed to be. Doesn't really do anything. I don't think. Maybe it is the brake. I'm not sure. But we'll get rid of the excess glue in case it is. There we go. We'll let that dry. Now I got to get some elastic bands that go from here around here and onto the sled, so that basically when you slide it out, this thing will go. And, I'm also going to do the final pieces here.
Wax that up.
So we've got this bit here. It's the check your luck sign that goes on the front. Just cleaning off all the carbon dust from the laser cutting process. It gets a little blackened from laser cutting. Although this one wasn't too bad. It's actually a well-fitting model for it's 3mm MDF that I'm using here, and it works quite good. I'm gonna go with birch, I think, if this works properly, but we're still waiting to see that outcome. And then we've got to put this on, so that's the shaft sticking through. What I may do is just bend it up a bit just to prevent it from falling through or whatever. And this is the window that you see your dice score on, because otherwise you wouldn't know where on the ring to read it from. So this shows you where the final outcome is. Let's do that. And it's also a proper spacer, so it allows you to space the wheels properly. Got to give everything a good little wipe down so there's no grease. Okay, and there, now we know everything's spinning. So you want to have those lined up, one and one. And when you slide it on, see how they move together? And then when it goes all the way there, and when the elastics are on, it will snap and cause it to spin. So we need some small elastics. Not sure what size yet, but we'll play with it. So my understanding is the elastics will go onto this wheel. Okay. Might be easier to apply it from this side. How long? How straight? That one looks good. The blue looks a good size. So, this is the tricky part. Okay, I'm going to pause it here just because this is going to take a while. Right, after much cajoling, I did manage to get the elastic band on. It was no easy feat. So if you break a band, you're going to be in for a little bit of a workout trying to get it on, but it is doable. So the elastic band, as you can see, stretches around here, around the front, and then it hooks onto this sled here. And when you pull the sled, the thing spins, and yes, it seems to be somewhat random, but the problem is there's no brake. So oftentimes it'll land between two dice. In fact, most times it will. So I'm kind of glad I did this in MDF because, you know, this is a pile of junk for what it was designed to do. You want to have a pair of dice. You know, this was supposed to supplant using a pair of dice, you know, for a game. But oftentimes what happens is you get an ambiguous answer. Now you come up with rules like if it's 3/4 of a number that or more, or like there it came up with a 2 and a 5. And when they did their video, for, you know, showing how it works, it you know, it stopped the one time they did it on the two numbers, which it just did there, 2 and a 5. But watch when I do it again. Let it run. And the other thing is there's 2 extra pieces that came with this thing. I don't know if it came with this or another project, so it might have been in the box, but it is made out of the same material. It seems to be the same thing, but there's nothing on the parts list to indicate that what they do, so I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a brake or what it is, but I don't actually believe it belongs to this. But anyway, so we got kind of a 2 and a 4 there. So basically what it does, I mean, you could bring it back and then stop it. But as you can see, there you got a 1, kind of a 1 and a 1, but it doesn't, you know, there's no brake. So I mean, it functions as a machine, but there you go. You got 3, and it's halfway between 1 and 3 and 4. So, yeah, I would much rather just throw a pair of dice than use this piece of crap. I mean, it's kind of cool, but had they have figured out somehow to make it stop on 2 numbers, like there, perfectly, we got a 2 and a 5, if you can see that. And then I'll do it again. So I'm going to use this video for a review on that product and with a link to it, and just, you know, give them my opinion. So there it's between 5 and 6, and you got a 6. So yeah, sorry, but I got to give it 2 thumbs down from the German judge, or the Canadian judge, I guess. And I mean, I'll just put it up on my tabletop of things that I've built. Got a number of these things lying around the house of all the laser products I've built. And this will just be, you know, an interesting conversation piece is the best you could say this thing is. But I mean, it does kind of function as it was supposed to, so I don't know if you know, if there's some way of making a break so that it will always land on a whole number instead of halfway between numbers, because it's just freewheeling otherwise. So there is my video on how to build this thing, and my honest opinion on what I think this is worth, which is nothing. Thanks for watching.